Hello everyone, I'm your cruise director Kristen, and this is CARY Town Center in Cary, North Carolina. It's been roughly a fortnight since I shot this video the week before Christmas, so it's only appropriate that this week Epic Games announced they will be purchasing CARY Town Center to build their new headquarters. This was a surprise announcement, as recently as October 2020 when it was announced that the mall would close after the 2020 holiday season. The intended plan was to redesign the property into a large mixed-use lifestyle center called Carolina Yards. Now, Epic Games will be building their global HQ here, and a Wake County Sports and Recreation Complex will begin being built in 2023 across the street, according to the Town of Cary's Zoning Commission website. Hey Epic, in 2024 when this project is done, will you give me a tour? You don't have to answer right now. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you like what you see, drop a like, subscribe, and click on the bell to be notified of future videos. Look around in here. It's a week before Christmas, and while the foot traffic is pretty steady, every other mall around here is packed. The mall is scheduled to close in the coming days if it hasn't already, and in spring the bulldozers are coming. CARY Town Center opened on February 14, 1979 as Cary Village Mall, a 325,000 square foot enclosed shopping center anchored by Ivy's and Hudson Bell. It was pinwheel-shaped with a triangular center food court, perhaps as a nod to the mall's location in North Carolina's Research Triangle. The development process was long and drawn out, with locals opposed to the increased traffic that the mall would bring. It forced the mall's developers, Sebi Jones and J.W. York, to have to get everything approved 10 times, according to them. It was home to 60 stores at the end of its first year that included a Radio Shack location that originally had orange shag carpet until the mall's marketing manager asked them to change it, as well as one of my favorite mall staples of the 70s and 80s, yet another store that seemed to sell only pants, this time called Slacks and Things. It's no pants explosion, but I'll take it. Between 1979 and 1988, the mall performed well and was a favorite of mall walkers. Cary's population steadily increased, as did the average household income due to the proliferation of biotech and technology companies relocating to the surrounding area. A feature of the property was an over 200-year-old oak tree in the parking lot that was an unofficial mascot of the mall, appearing as its logo and in murals. In 1988, an announcement was made that a new, even larger mall was going to be built less than a mile away. The proposed size of the mall was between 1.3 and 1.7 million square feet, 4 to 5 times the size of Cary Village Mall. The developer of this proposed behemoth? None other than L.J. Hooker, the Australian firm who built Forest Fair Village in Cincinnati and rebirthed Richland Fashion Square in Columbia, South Carolina as quickly fading giants. Unsurprisingly, following the company's bankruptcy in 1989, the mall that would have been Crossroads Mall was never built. The property was purchased by another developer, and it became Crossroads Plaza, an open-air strip center. The response of Cary Village's owners at the time, Jacobs, Visconsi, and Jacobs, was to plan a drastic expansion of the mall from 325,000 square feet to over 1 million. The newly remodeled mall would open in 1991 as CARY Town Center, adding 3 anchors: Thalhimer's, Sears, and JCPenney. It was reported at the time that CARY Town Center securing JCPenney and Sears was one factor of many as to why Crossroads Mall was never built. Over the next few years, Ivy's was purchased by Dillard's, and Thalhimer's became Hecht's, then later Macy's. Business was booming as the population and its income continued to grow. In 1994, the iconic southern red oak that served as the mall's unofficial mascot was struck by lightning, and despite efforts to save it, the tree was dead and was removed. This was a significant enough event that it warranted an entire article in the Raleigh News and Observer newspaper. People really loved that tree. When I first walked into this mall, I couldn't believe how much smaller it seemed inside than outside. Then I walked down this corridor, which abruptly ends right before the former JCPenney entrance, walling off nearly 2/3 of the mall. I wanted to be able to show you the whole place, but what can you do? It was a busy night, I was 5 hours from home, and despite several requests since, I haven't been able to make arrangements to come back and get footage either. Even from the outside, the closed-off areas were so dark I wasn't able to get much of a look at what was left inside, the empty parts of the mall that are hanging on parasitically like a phantom limb. The first anchor to fully depart was Sears in 2015. When its closure was announced, Topgolf announced they were investigating replacing the empty Sears with a location, but obviously this never happened. When Macy's closed its location in 2016, IKEA announced they were considering purchasing both the Sears and Macy's spaces to build a new store. CBL, the mall's owner since 2001, said they would be tearing down the mall corridors leading to the two anchors. But by 2017, the IKEA plan was scrapped as well. In 2019, JCPenney announced they would be closing in April. Days later, CBL announced the mall had been sold to its current owners, Turnbridge Equities and Denali Properties. They picked up the plan to demolish the mall and turn it into what was at the time called Carolina Yards, which would be a big mixed-use development. In June, Dillard's announced they would be closing as well, leaving only Belk as the remaining anchor, who pledged to be part of the new Carolina Yards development. That brings us to the present, when this mall is closed, awaiting demolition to be turned into the headquarters for Epic Games to be completed in 2024 that will include both offices and recreation facilities for employees. CARY Town Center existed in its many forms for 41 years, and over the years was probably home to countless kids' first visit with Santa, Christmas shopping trips with family, first dates, and first jobs. This is a last look at a building with a lot of memories in it. My own childhood malls are in a state of distress or have been remodeled to the point of being unrecognizable. The photos and video that were never taken are lost to time. So if CARY Town Center was your mall growing up, take a last look and remember it fondly. Thank you for joining us for the first video in 2021. We have some huge plans in store for this year, including another even bigger season of Overmauled in a new city, and a new series that explores the quirky and odd landmarks of the American roadside. Thank you to Phil, Eva, Dean, and the rest of our growing list of supporters on Patreon who help make this and other episodes possible. As always, I'm your cruise director, Kristen, and this is Unicom Productions. We'll see you next time.